Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Pup and Away podcast. My name is Steph. You may know me as Steph, the Pro Dog Mom. I'm a certified dog trainer, canine behaviorist, and canine nutritionist in San Antonio, Texas, and the very, very proud owner of Pup and Away, where we specialize in pet care with the behavioral edge. That is boarding, socialization, and training, and of course nutrition stuff. So if you have a dog in San Antonio, come find me. But we also do a lot of stuff virtual as well. And of course, I got the podcast. The podcast is always a lot of fun to help share information, my experiences. And today we have Kris with Jodan's Way, who I just had a recent experience with. If you guys don't know what Jodan's Way is, it is definitely something for you guys to follow along with. But to tell us all about it, Kris, take it away. Tell us about you. Tell us about Jodan's Way.
So yeah, I'm Kris with Jodan's Way. So I started Jodan's Way back in 2019 after my dog Jodan passed away of cancer. I actually got her in 2009. When I got her, I kind of got thrown out of the same shelter that I was getting her from because I didn't know the shelter life. I didn't know the shelter world. And when they told me that she was in that cage for 4 years since the day she was born, I had questions. I have a lot of questions. So for me, I'm one of those inquisitive people that I want to know things. So I asked why she was at the back of the shelter. I asked why she was not on their profile in terms of like on their website front page, profile picture on Facebook. Like this dog's been here too long.
Yeah.
To the point where they were basically like, do you want the dog or not? So at that moment, I always said there was something I was going to do one day. I just don't know what. It took about 10 years later, when she passed away, that I started Jodan's Way. I started doing live feeds in Florida where I live. And I did one live feed after another, and then I did about 40 to 50 shelters in Florida just doing live feeds until somebody finally said you should start fundraising or do something raising money for shelters and bringing awareness. And so I started with one fundraiser that I did in Pasco County, Florida, where I slept in a kennel, or I proposed to sleep in a kennel for 30 days, or until they raised $100,000 to rebuild their shelter because all the dogs were outside. And
Wow.
night 7, I ended up raising $116,000, and after that, one of the anchors actually called me to go into the Hallmark channel in California, because I ended up being in like 3 or 4 local talk shows when I was doing this sleep-in. By like the 5th or 6th night out there, Fox, ABC, Bay News 9 came out to do the story. They were like, what is this? What is this? And to the point where we raised all the money, and I ended up being flown to California. I was on the Hallmark channel, and the anchor was like, you got to take this act on the road, because what you have, a lot of people don't have in terms of being able to stay on camera, the charisma, the stuff that I do, the crazy antics that I do, and I apologize for that.
It's okay. Uh-oh, I lost your voice though.
I'm so sorry.
There you go. There you go. You're back.
But no, they asked me, like, can you take this act on the road? And I was like, okay. So I started with 1 or 2 shelters doing 3-4 hour live feeds, raising money, and ended up being Florida to Georgia to 50 states 3 times over. And here we are today after about 5-6 years that we're closing on a 14 million raised.
That is so cool. First of all, thank you for having the passion to do something. And I'm glad that Jodan found a home with you. It absolutely sucks that she had to wait 4 years, but it sounds like the 4 years for her paid off. Number 1, she got to land a home with you, but number 2, she obviously has this really awesome legacy behind, because she's since passed, correct?
Yeah, 2019.
2019. So, that is a crazy journey, crazy along the way. And it's so cool to hear how it kind of evolved from sleeping in a kennel so when you were sleeping in a kennel for 30 days, did you only sleep in there at nighttime, or were you in there for 24/7 for 5 days?
So no, I am all in when it comes to everything. So I was actually in there for the whole day.
Wow.
What happened was I did a press release and I sent it to like 5 news stations in Tampa. And I don't know if they took me seriously, but the first day I was live for hours. I did probably 3 or 4, 2-3 hour live feeds during the first day when it came to like morning, midday, and nighttime. And people were just sharing it, tagging Bay News 9, Tampa Bay Times, Fox 13, all these places, to the point where they got enough tags where they were just kind of like, okay, what's going on? And
What the heck is going on? What's this guy doing?
showing up with their cameras, and I can even send you all the footage from like the news stations and stuff like that picked me up. But yeah, it was insane. It was intense. I didn't see it coming, but once I did my first fundraiser, I was kind of hooked on how people can get behind this with doing the live stuff like that. But yeah, it was crazy.
That's awesome. So yeah, the first time that I was introduced to you obviously was for Roscoe's Way. So for anyone who listening right now, so at Pup and Away, my boarding facility, we have 3 fosters right now, and one of them, Romeo, is a deaf pit bull, who he just turned 2 years old, and unfortunately he spent that birthday with us. All 3 of these dogs came from a hoarding property in the Bandera County area, and Romeo is now under Roscoe Rescue's umbrella. So they help pay for some training that we're doing, and they board with us for free. So poor dude, we got him in January, so he's just like 4 months shy of living at my facility for a year. And it's great to be able to offer them those spots, but also they would just thrive so much more. And so obviously when I first heard about this opportunity that Roscoe's Rescue had to do with you, that was the first time I was introduced to what you do. And I learned very, very, very quickly all the different things that you do. So tell me a little bit about how this kind of evolved. Obviously you started from like sleeping in a kennel for up to 30 days, and now you do 3-hour-long live Facebook events. So tell us how it kind of like evolved in the process that you come up with your challenges, because I guess that your challenges, in order to keep things interesting and fresh, those are always changing.
Yep. So I'll start with, I'm a 38-year-old, 8-year-old, and I am also a girl dad. So I'm going to start there. No, one of the things that I really started to dissect is the live feed aspect of fundraising. And I, being that, I always said it's a very unsexy niche that we're in terms of like, you're dealing with rescues and shelters. And like, if you are invited to an animal shelter fundraiser or something around like it could be a walk, it could be something they do like the no balls spaghetti dinners kind of thing for like fundraisers, whatever they call them. I was trying to say like, how can I make an animal shelter fundraiser sexy? Because like it's just not that attractive. Like us that live in that world, that bubble of animal welfare, we love it, right? But there is a huge bubble, like 98% of the world that doesn't care. So I'm like, how can I make them care, make them have fun? Because even at the event for Roscoe's Rescue at your place, people stood around for the first like couple minutes like, what is this? What is going on? Until the game started, and then people were just like, okay, here we go. Somebody's donating to pie Stephanie in the face. Somebody's donating to pie somebody else in the face. It's like it went from one extreme to the next, and it went from one crazy challenge to the other. And I had to evolve this from like, when I started in Florida, I didn't want to do anything to anybody. So like everything was done to me. Ice play, pies to the face, like everything was done to me. And to the point where I was just like, after a fundraiser, like I was like, my head was hurting. Like I was like, I took like 4 ice buckets. I was getting destroyed. And then stuff started getting into play. Kevin Hart slapped The Rock with a tortilla. And that kind of birthed the tortilla slap. And kind of little things started happening along the way. And then people were like, you got to start doing it to other people. Because like if Rachel, for example, from Roscoe's Rescue, she's got a lot of friends. Like, I didn't know her back then, but like I'm just giving her an example. Like if I go to Roscoe's Rescue back then, they're like, Rachel's popular. People want to see her get a pie in the face. People want to see her eat a bug. People want to see her do things. Okay, and now that it's live, I can say who's donating because I'm reading off the names in real time. So that energy becomes contagious. Hearing their name over the live feed became contagious. Attacking somebody in that local area, like Rachel is popular in that area. Lisa might be popular in Georgia. Like I know, like especially if there's political officials that show up. Like we've had the mayor show up, we've had celebrities show up, we've had athletes show up, we've had people that have showed up that like, whoa, okay, let's see if we can put them on the hot seat for something. People want to see something done to that person. We live in a world where drama is so exciting. Like, so like when you have a countdown going, and I'm not gonna lie, I manipulate some things a little bit. Like if you need to raise 500 to not eat something, I'm gonna keep it going. Even if we hit 1,000, I'm not gonna tell you to the end. Like just to keep the number playing around with, because you want to see them get more donations other than stop it. Because if it's going good, it's like you guys are still $50 away. It's like, damn, they got it like 20 minutes ago. Like no, I'm just kidding.
That was the shaving my head. I was like, no. Like, I will say yes to almost anything. You say, Steph, you want to do this? Steph, you want to do that? I'm your yes girl, except for when it comes to shaving my head. So it was such a relief when you were like, yeah, you guys reached your goal like 30 minutes, not 30 minutes, but like 10 minutes ago. I was like, oh my god.
It happens usually. The hair challenge it can usually happen in where it's like it matters where I am too. Like I did one recently where I was like, if we don't raise 2,500 in the next 15 minutes of shaving heads, and I knew the community a little well in terms of like their donation style, and somebody donated like $2,000 like the first minute I said it, and I was looking at the thing, I was like, shit, I can curse, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Say whatever you want.
I was just like, oh shit, like what am I gonna do here? Like so I just kept going. I was making sure that nobody saw it. Like, you know, people
Yeah.
are looking to the same place I am because it's the same, you know, they're seeing the same thing I'm seeing. And so, like, nobody said anything. And if somebody does, I'm usually like, yo, shut up, shut up, shut up. Like,
Keep it quiet.
keep going. Donations are coming in. Don't worry about it. And it's fun because, you know, people always say, like, they're so underfunded. Nobody donates to our shelter. And then I come in, they're like, how did you do that? And it's like, drama.
Yeah.
Man, it just sells.
And the beautiful thing is, once I started thinking about it afterwards, is you created the recipe, and really the rescue brings like the ingredients for it, right? Because when I first heard about it, I was like, oh yeah, we must be using like Kris's followers, because obviously Jordan's Way has a huge following now, you know, on social media and things like that. So when I was first thinking about this, you know, before I actually had the chance to be in the event, I was like, oh, Kris must be doing it on his Facebook and his stuff, his social media. But really, you were doing it off of the rescue's website and their Facebook. So it really was us, the volunteers and the friends and the family, and us sharing it. Like, these people have always been in our back pockets, but for whatever reason, they weren't pulling out their wallets until you came and you made a whole really fun production over it, which is super duper cool.
Well, I always tell rescues, like, especially when I leave, my impact is better if you guys can reach, because I think in Roscoe's, and I could be wrong, but I remember they had at least 100 plus donors. And, you know, I tell Rachel, like, and, you know, after I leave, make my impact greater, get those donors and try to get them to be reoccurring donors. It could be $5. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It makes the impact of what I just did better. You know, like, you know, it makes it bigger for you guys. Like, you know, like, not just a one-time fundraiser, but have them be reoccurring donors to your rescue. Like, now that
Yeah.
they, you know, there's something about putting a face to something, right? Like, you know, I know what you guys do at Pop Up and Away is great, but like, when they see your face, they see you on this podcast, they see you on the live feed, and the fun, the personalities, it gives them more of a connection to you now.
Yeah.
And like I told Rachel, like, people post all the time, like, you know, this dog's in trouble, we got to pull this dog, we need medical, but they don't get to see the faces. Like, they don't get to see the fun. Like, there's so much dark with animal welfare because of like the stigma, the bad connotation, the dark connotation with animal shelter. The word animal shelter doesn't even sound good. You know,
Yeah.
like, to bring the light, to bring some fun once a year to your rescue, to your boarding facility, to your training, whatever it is, like, people connect better that way.
I agree. Yeah. I just dipped my toes into the shelter world. Fostering these kiddos and supporting the rescues is the furthest that I'll go. I have had a couple of personal fosters too, but the rescue game is hard to do, dealing with the not only just like enough fosters and volunteers to keep your organization running, but then the types of people who are surrendering their dogs. And I do believe that people should be surrendering their dogs for certain reasons, but then you also get caught up with the people who, like, you just didn't even try, and just it's very heartbreaking. So to support these rescue organizations and these shelters is super awesome. How many, because, okay, so the first day that we were supposed to have Roscoe's Rescue, we didn't get enough volunteers, so we canceled the event, which I think obviously was very smart after I learned exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
But I think you also did another event that same day. So you were supposed to have two that day, correct? Do you typically do two a day whenever you do one?
I always do
That's
two
a
a day.
lot.
So when I first started touring, it was once a day, and my fees were 4 hours, not 3 hours. So, like,
Okay.
now I do 10 to 1 and 6 to 9 every day, and we do it for about 11 days straight. So we do between 20 and 25 shelters every month. Like, for next month, I'm actually doing 2 trips. I actually have 18 shelters starting on the 29th of September, and then I have a short trip in October as well. So we're doing actually 26 shelters in October.
Wow.
That's intense. That's a little harder. But no, we always do 2 a day.
Okay. And seeing you before, during, and after is so funny, because I had seen small clips of your videos before we did the event. And I obviously knew, like, okay, like, this guy brings the energy. When you walk in, you were like, you have like zone, like, you are conserving your energy.
So funny, 'cause
At
people are
first,
like,
I was like, "Is that the guy? Is that Kris? Is there like, does he have a twin?" And it was just, and at first, I have a very introverted husband, and so when I kind of saw you for a second, and then I had to think about, oh yeah, he's about to be on for 3 hours talking nonstop. It completely made sense to me. And then, of course, as soon as you hit that live button, you're going, talking, doing things, and keeping the energy up. And then as soon as the camera goes off again, you were like, woo. So it was very interesting. I'm going to guess that there's a lot more to, like, your routine to get ready for these, though.
So yeah, like, after 5, almost 6 years now, it's almost, I'm just about at 1,700 shelters now in 5, 6 years. I think when I first started the tour, it was awful. I was by myself. I was going through an actual bad divorce, and I was actually Maryland didn't come on with me until about 2-3 years ago, so I was alone for a long time.
Okay.
And I used to, my car was filled with Monster drinks back then because that's what I thought I needed. And like I also didn't care about my voice. I would just go, 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 go. I was doing lives in between shelters, and then I get to like the 7th, 8th, 9th day, and I'd be like, honey and salt water, and like just trying to help my voice because I was losing it. So like, when I brought Marilyn on, I was like, okay, I need you to talk to these people. I need you to do the huddle. Because I used to do the huddle. I used to talk to them. I used to do it all, start to finish. But I couldn't keep my voice going for 12 days straight. Or I didn't. By the last shelter, I wasn't giving them my best because I was so hoarse and I just sounded awful.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, like people have said like, we thought you were like the biggest dick before you started. I was like, no, listen, like, I have music playing, like I'm listening to something, like I'm there. I swear to God, I'm scoping the room, I'm scoping the people. You can also, there's a game that we played during the huddle. I'm usually watching like who the introverted people are, who the players are. I'll usually ask like the main person, like I asked Rachel, like who's good to pick on, who knows people, who can I really go after during the live feed, in a fun way to bring out their personalities and bring out the energy of everybody else, because they're going to respond to me, but they're also going to respond to people that they know.
Yeah.
So there was a game.
I was wondering about that part because, like, and I couldn't tell if you picked certain people because you could tell if they were going to say yes to different things, or if you had to like zone in on certain people just because you couldn't remember everyone's names. Because you picked on me a lot.
One of the reasons I picked on you a lot was because I can tell during the huddle, especially with you against Rachel, like. I can tell the energy. I can tell you're gonna be a little loud, but you're also being hosted by you at the same time. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna want to speak freely about why you support this rescue, who you are, what your place is, give you guys that kudos, because at the end of the day, without you, we couldn't do the event. Like, so for me, I'm gonna pick on you for many reasons, but like I watch even during the tortilla slap when I demonstrate on people, like just hearing like, oh, I want to slap the hell out of that person. Like, I have a 10-year-old daughter that, I want her to do this one day. She has way more hurdles than I had that she's got to deal with. And one of the things is you're going to have to really, the kids in this generation aren't that street smart in terms of like, you got to be able to know people. You got to be able to understand people. Like in terms of like, I say some things that I know I can get away with. I don't know if she'll be able to, because like, everybody watching on a live feed, most people in person are going to be women. Mm-hmm. So I'm talking to women as a guy.
Right.
And like as a girl, I think she's going to have a harder time. And now she's a beautiful girl, and I think she, she's going to be able to sell if she takes over one day. But I also think girls respond better to the young guy versus like girl kind of mentality. So I know she's going to have a little bit of an uphill battle with that. But the street smart thing is something that like, because there are times during a tortilla slap when I have two elderly people tortilla slapping against each other. And I know I can get away with saying like, yo, slap her into menopause, let's go. Like I can say it. Maybe it's because the dimples, the smile, I don't know what it is, but I can say it. But after people had to tell me, the reason you're getting away with it is because you're a good looking young guy and these people are like fueled by your energy. I'm like, I hope she can get away with saying stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are some things I say that are just, the P. Diddy party, some things I say that I know I can get away with. Some places like the Indianas of the world, the Midwest, some of those real conservative types, I have to really, you got to think before you got to know the audience.
Right.
I have some places that I walk in, they're giving me the finger just because like, we know each other, but we also have that same, kind of connection.
Yeah.
Some places where the board wasn't too thrilled that you're coming, and they weren't really up for your antics, or like, maybe the director was all about it, but the board wasn't. So like, you got to be careful a little bit. I'm careful in those situations, but I'm also a competitive jackass from Jersey. So like, I'm coming at them hard. Like I'm gonna have my parts to kind of pick at them at some points.
Yeah, and that's of course the entertainment value of it too. That's why people are tuning in and watching it, especially for a 3-hour-long engagement, right? If you're going to ask anybody to sit in front of a camera or in front of a TV screen for longer than 2 minutes, good luck. So it's for us to be asking them to be sitting and watching something for 3 hours. You got to keep everything moving, and the way that you guys formulated everything everything was really well because nothing took too long, in my opinion. Like you had the team challenges, and it didn't even feel like 30 minutes each time that, team was in there. And then pretty much everything that happened after that with the pies and the eggs and the water hose. And like when I thought back to it afterwards, and I watched it afterwards too, I was like, man, so much stuff happened within those 3 hours. So yeah, your personality has to be there. You got to be on the games, and all the different things are a lot of fun. How long is each one of your travels? You said about 12 days?
So yeah, it's usually 12 days.
Okay.
We usually do 2 shelters a day, and then we're home for 2 weeks. October's a little different, but usually that's what it is. It's usually 12, 13 days, but it's usually 2 shelters a day times 11, 12 days, and it's crazy.
Wow. How can people support you on that journey? Because you got gas, you got hotel rooms. I think you guys also said you'll sleep in cars sometimes. So I'm guessing that this is something that you guys could use a little bit of support too.
So one of the things that we have for Jordan's Way is our Patreon page, which you can just go to our website, jordanswaytour.com, and it's a pop-up, flies up. But yeah, we stay in about 11 to 12 different hotel rooms a night. We rent a car. We fly in from different locations. Maryland lives in Tennessee. I live in Florida.
Okay.
But yeah, it is one of those things that, so to this day, I can't, like, our next trip, we're going to be closing in on 14 million. And it's one of those things where I'm just like, Jesus, like, but I remember I was in Maine by myself when we hit 1 million. And I remember that shelter that back then, Central Rooster Humane Society did a huge, like, thing out, in their place when we hit the number that I was supposed to hit.
That's awesome.
But it's definitely been a long, fun road. It started with definitely humble beginnings. I always mess with Maryland because I'm like, my first year on the road, I lived in the car. I didn't have a hotel. I never had hotels. Never had them. Like now we're always in Holiday Inn Expresses, and it's different now. But we also have I know you probably heard about the Jordan's Way Bowl coming up. Mm-hmm. Which is crazy, but anything that everybody wants to know about us or how to help us out is just going to our website.
Okay, cool. How did you and Marilyn get connected if you're from Florida and she's from Tennessee?
She was hitchhiking. No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking. I'm so sorry. Marilyn's going to be like, asshole. No. So Marilyn used to be a kennel tech manager at a shelter in Tennessee when I was coming through Tennessee. Okay. That's kind of how we met, and we connected afterwards, and we just started talking about coming on tour. She used to come on tour part-time, and then she was working at a vet clinic at one point part-time, and 2 weeks with me, 2 weeks with them, and then she finally came on full-time with me.
Okay, that's very cool. And so she's kind of is she like your tour manager, or she's just kind of like your hype man, or she's a little bit of all the things?
She's basically like the partner in crime on tour. Like, you know what I mean? Like I have 2 other employees that schedule all our scheduling. One's out of Texas, one's out of California. But yeah, we don't do the scheduling. We have 2 other people that do the scheduling. But yeah, she is basically Batman Robin on tour. Cool. Like she, it's been cool to kind of watch her kind of get better over time. Because when she came on tour originally, I had somebody else with me on tour, an older gentleman that he's like in his 60s now. I couldn't do it anymore. But he used to be the hype person. But to watch her transition into that role, and she's now loud, she's outspoken. Like that's not who she was. Like she wasn't that comfortable in that role. But she's definitely gotten a lot better over the last 2 years. Matching my energy, kind of getting I had to kind of push her into being demanding. Like, guys, let's go.
Get your ass over here now. Transition.
Yeah. Seriously, that's what I told her. I was like, don't be shy. Like we're trying to do a service for them. We're trying to be their biggest fundraiser. We're trying to show them a good time. We're trying to loosen up them for like one day, because there's some shelters that will be like, Kris, like we need this one day a year just to kick the hell out of each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
That's team bonding.
There's so much stress in some of these places that they're like, we just need you once a year to come in here and just let it all out for us. Like the board president against the director, we have the mayor going against the fire chief. We have it's just like there's so much competitive stuff in some of the places we go to where it's like they remember team 2 or team 3 beat them last year, and they want to beat them. Like they just get so behind it and so competitive that it's cool. Like it's one of those things where you're making a very unsexy industry become sexy. Like, you're just making it like real fun. I always say that because like it's so hard to convince people to come out to their local shelter. Yeah. And it's come out for this event. Just come. As long as I get as many feet in the door as possible, there's a chance that dog might go home in that kennel. Like Like the car lot, like as soon as you get the person on the car lot, you can try to buy them get them into a car. But like for me, I'm just like, get the people in the shelter. You never know; they might adopt, foster, become a new volunteer. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely. So the chick who sprayed me down with the hose, that's Maggie. She's actually my admin manager, and she's also one of my best friends. So of course, when she was like, "I get to do something to stuff," she's like, "Sign me up." So
Oh, she
I can
raised her
understand how some of these organizations have that. Let me pie my boss in the face thing.
We have some stories.
I bet you do.
We've had people tased on the feed. We've had people. We had somebody wax his nose hairs. Like we've had the worst. If you don't mind me telling the story,
Please do. I'm here for the stories.
the worst I ever saw was at a shelter. I believe it was North Texas. I could be even wrong on the state because it was a couple years ago. There was this foster raised rescue that these people. I'm 38. I've never drank alcohol in my life. Never smoked. I wasn't the guy that went to parties. I was just a different disciplined kid since I was a teenager, and they had punch bowls in every room. Like, and I just thought this was like it could have been anything. I don't know what it was, but I didn't realize they were getting drunk at the fundraiser. And I had no idea. They were just raising a crap ton of money. Like, and it was just like, what is happening? Like, there was like 50, 60 people there. And one of the last challenges they had, which I thought they were joking. I really did. There was a guy that was on the PGA Tour, golf,
Okay.
that was there. And I don't know anything about golf, but he was like, if we hit 35,000, and they were close, I'm going to swing a golf ball into this guy's ass. Like, Stephanie, I'm not playing. This happened. This guy, he's got jeans on. He didn't pull his pants down, but like he had jeans on. His hands were against the wall. This guy takes a golf and he's, bam. I mean, it hit this guy right in the ass. And I was like, I didn't think this was going to actually happen. I thought he was joking. And when he finally opened up his swing and swung, the camera was on there. I must have paused for a good 30 seconds after he did it. I was like, oh, shit. I'm all like I was just like, what's wrong with these people? Like, is this real? I've seen some of the weird, like even the tasing is weird.
Yeah,
Like,
that's big.
I had a sheriff get tased just a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't, I forget what state it was in, but the guy just fell to the floor, and I was just like, I remember you could probably hear it on the live feed. I looked at Marilyn. I'm like, is he dead? like, like what's happening? But people. I'm telling you, that's why a lot of these shows, like these wipeout shows and these shows of just like watching people get humiliated, are so popular.
Yeah, there's definitely a factor to that for sure. So you're also just like, number one, y'all bring certain things. Obviously, we're gonna do pies. We're gonna do some eggs, some whipped cream things, like all that stuff. But also the people that are there are also just throwing out some ideas as well.
Yep. Oh yeah. Once you see like with their fundraiser, Roscoe's Rescue, it was that avalanche effect where it was like the first person got pied. Then you see everybody, $50, I'll pie Steph. $50, I want to pie Rachel. 50. It was just like, what people don't realize, they're doing what you're asking them to do. Donate to your local shelter. Donate, but they weren't donating $5 to pie Steph. They were donating $50, $100. Like, it wasn't small amounts of money. Like, and that's where it's kind of funny because it's just like, it's amazing what we have to do for people to do this.
Right.
It was coming in. Like, Rachel even said to me, I didn't expect anything near this. Like, and it was like, 60, I think there was 17,000 when they finished. Like, days later. It's a lot of money to raise in a couple hours.
Absolutely.
But
for sure.
It's that live element.
I was telling a bunch of people afterwards, because obviously we're sending the link to everybody, and I think some people were like, Steph, did you get spammed? And I was like, no, like, just click the link. I promise you it's real. Like, just do it. And I even talked to my dad a couple of days afterwards, and he was like, so I saw the thing that you guys did. And at first he was like a little bit confused by it, but he's like, I watched the whole thing, and it was pretty fun. You guys raised some money, huh? And we're like, yeah, at that day it was just under 16,000. And he was like, oh, okay, that's crazy. And I like to, oh my god, hi doggy. I like to tell people, like, it was the most fun that I've had in a long time. Like, number one, I felt like a little kid again. Oh my goodness, who is this?
Smooch.
Hi, Mooch. Oh my goodness.
Smooch, sorry.
Wait, what?
Smooch, sorry.
Smooch. Well, Smooch, they're both pretty cute names. Is she a doodle?
Yeah.
She's cute.
So I have a special needs daughter, and I can't have a dog that sheds.
Ah, okay, gotcha. I have two schnauzers. My 15-year-old's hanging out back over there. But yeah, they're also pretty shed free.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, yeah, very cool. So yeah, it was definitely an experience. It was so much fun. I was super tired afterwards. I was also very impressed at how easy the cleanup was.
Oh, really?
It was actually, yeah. So by the time that Maggie and I finished rinsing the slime off of us,
Oh, yeah.
we went back inside, and it looked like the majority of all of the like the whipped cream had gotten cleaned up. So the building did smell a bit like old whipped cream for the next couple of days,
It's like,
but it's come out.
yeah, slime is water soluble. It's we just got it off Amazon. It's pretty easy to make. It's just powder and water. I wish I had
Gotcha.
it years ago when my daughter wanted to make slime out of the Elmer's glue and stuff.
Oh.
We had that luxury, but no, yeah, it's pretty easy. It's most of it's pretty easy to clean up. Most of it.
Yeah, the eggs were a little challenging just because I didn't see where all the egg stuff was, because when we finished it was dark.
Yeah.
So the next morning I was like, oh, okay, there's all the eggs, and now it's sat. But it was water
Yeah.
hose is totally fine. It was so much fun. Yeah, most fun that I've had probably in 30 years, and the most fun that I've had sober for sure.
There you go. Well, that's what it was. People always tell me that. They're like, "This is the most fun I've had in a long time,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Yeah, it's definitely something that I have. It definitely evolved. Like I tell you, like the bugs are new. The yellow snow, the yellow snow was something that a company basically came to us about. Like they were just like, we
Oh,
got this.
cool.
It's in a bottle. It's like, oh, great. Like you know what I mean? Like, and I've been caught a few times in situations where I wasn't ready for some things. Like we were in Alabama, and there was Monroe County, their fundraiser raised a lot of money, and they had these commissioners. The mayor came out, and they were in the bailout wars. And one of the commissioners was like, "If somebody donates 500, I'll drink it." Somebody donated 500. If somebody does it again, I'll do it again. There was like 3 or 4 $500 donations until we were running out. And remember, I looked at Maryland, and I turned the camera away from me, and I was just like, "Yo, I'm gonna have to start peeing in these myself." Like this ain't a joke. This guy ain't playing. Like this guy's not playing. We're running out. We didn't bring enough. Now we have like jars and jars of it. So I'm just like, all right, we're
Got to be
prepared.
prepared for it all.
Like we've had some. It really is like I've seen older people in their 60s and 70s act like 10-year-olds during our
Yeah.
food. Like whether it's a tortilla slap, whether it's something that we have mixed into the thing, like the one chip challenge. Like we have seen them do some stuff, and you're like, holy crap! And they say the same thing. I've had this much fun in 50 years, and it's like, Jesus. Like, but no, it is one of those things. It's different because another part of the inspiration is I've been invited to some of like the local humane societies by me. Like there are sit down dinners and stuff, and I'm just like, yo. Nobody's coming because there's an Olive Garden like 2 blocks away. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but you gotta sex it up a little bit. Like, you gotta make it
Yeah.
a little bit fun. Like, we live in a different world. That's why, like, even raising kids, like my 10-year-old, like, they want to teach these kids about World War One. I'm like, yo, this is not the day and age for it. These kids are on the YouTube. Their stuff is fast. You gotta get
Yeah.
them. You gotta give it to them a little differently now. Like, be a
Yeah.
little creative with how you're teaching. But
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, your accuracy and your aim with the pie is impressive. I'm not gonna lie. The first pie that I took in the face, I was not expecting it. My eyes were wide open. It took me like a little while to get my vision back. When you got Letitia, the photographer, you were like facing one direction, she's behind you, and you just like bam and go, and you got her spot on. I was like, holy crap, he's really good at this.
Yeah, I've had some practice for sure. It's funny, like if I'm at a place and not everybody is like, you're not everybody's cup of tea, right? Like, so like if I'm at a place where I'm like, yo, these people are real dry, I'll take like Maryland aside and be like, yo, I'm gonna light them up the first pie face. Like, and I mean, I'm loaded because I'm gonna get it everywhere. And she's like, oh boy, she gets the camera out. She's like, because like if I really want to open it up a little bit, I will throw that pie to the point where it goes everywhere. And
Yeah.
you'll see people behind the person getting pied, they're like, their face looks like they're so like a horror movie. Like it was just too much. But then
What did
all of
I
a
sign up for?
then all of a sudden you crack one person, you crack the others, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden they all just break out of it, and they're like, it's like being on a dance floor. They just start dancing. They just start having fun.
Yeah.
You know, that's what the hardest thing is, because I think like I don't blame the people in the animal shelters. I just think it's a very hard job.
Oh my
You know,
God,
like,
yeah.
stressful job. So they wear it on their sleeves. It's a tough job to do every day. You know. So like for me, I'm just kind of like I try to open them up just for a day. Like just get them to like just break open, break loose, and just have a good time.
Yeah. And there's definitely an art to it too, because I think like one of the things that Maryland does is, now everyone's loosey goosey, now everyone's laughing and talking and doing all this. And part of her job is like, okay, guys, but still bring it back down because we still have to be able to hear Kris on the video. So it's a lot of, orchestrating and managing. And I think that you guys did a really good job too of making sure that you use every single minute. Even when
Yep.
we're transitioning the teams out, you're going back and you're, talking to the dogs again. You're going to do like, okay, if we raise another 400, their dogs are going to get treats. Like you guys did a really great job of like filling every minute with something valuable, which is super cool.
That's what I always tell. I said we like are together for 3 hours on this feed. Like like we came all the way from Tampa and Tennessee. Like give them everything we got. Like give them everything you got because we want to be better than everybody else in this niche of like fundraising for animal shelters. We want to be the best. That's like our competitive nature. So it's like we got some. My daughter's school just did a 2-week fundraiser with a company that comes in, I guess, from wherever they come in. And, I said to Mary, I said, yo, I'm going to come after elementary schools next. Like, we can beat that company. It took them 2 weeks to raise that money. We could do it in 3. Like, what I mean? Like, so for me, I'm just ultra competitive. So for me, I always want to up my game when it comes to each year. And each, next year I want Rachel to beat 17,000 next year. So, like, we're going to have our hands full with that one too. Like there's a lot of fundraisers that we've done. Like our biggest ever was 137,000.
Wow. That's amazing.
I will give you 3 guesses. What state was that in?
Oh my God. California.
Nope. You'll never expect New York. It's not California. And it ain't Florida.
Oh, you'll go to, okay. You said Georgia. New York.
I said not New York.
I'm also very geographically challenged.
It was in Iowa.
In Iowa.
Crazy.
That is kind of crazy because I would think that's where everyone's kind of a little bit more on the dry side. The Midwest, yeah.
First year I went to the shelter, they raised over 30. The next year I went there, the mayor declared it Jordan's Way Day.
That's awesome.
2 weeks before I got there. And one of the things my daughter absolutely hates that I bring to school every once in a while to annoy her is these things that they made and they pass around town. They made like 100 of these things, and they gave me like 20 to go home with. So the car line at school,
That's so funny.
my daughter hates it. But yeah, they did a lot of creative stuff, and the donations were flying in, like literally flying in.
So we got to get some celebrities, some local celebrities to come in on these.
Right?
Okay.
Seriously, like what made it fun for them, I don't even know what a proclamation is. But like they were like, our mayor's doing a proclamation when you're coming, and they're shutting down this street, and I'm like, yo, man, like I'm not Oprah, like, I don't know who the hell you think's getting out of that car, but like, no, they made it a spectacle around some guy traveling across the country, and the community responded. Like they were
That
just
is so cool.
wow, like, if he can come from Tampa, we can come from down the street, kind of mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and they did. I'm telling you, the donations were just flying in. Like it was something I've never seen before. Cars were flying into the parking lot, just throwing checks, throwing cash, and like keeping up with all the numbers. It was like 80,000 in private donations, 48,000 on Facebook. It was like, what the is going on? Like,
Wow. That's
it was wild.
amazing. That is so wild. That's awesome. That's super cool though. Is there anything else that we haven't touched on about Jordan's Way and you and all the different things that you guys do?
Next year I'm going to arm wrestle Rachel, and she's going to lose. That's what I'm doing.
I mean, she's a pretty tough chick. I mean, I don't know. The both of you guys got some muscles. But I think it might be a pretty fair fight.
I heard, but she's going to be at the Jordan's Way Ball in November.
I saw her that she posted up about that. I need to go read it because it's in Wichita Falls.
So yeah, so last time I was in Texas, I did like 50 shelters in 50 days. It was like a 2-month two different trips, but I blended into 50 shelters basically in 50 days because we do 2 a day. And the Dallas Cowboy event coordinator contacted me, and they were just like, we saw what you just did in Texas. Like, would you ever consider bringing it to AT&T State or Jerry Jones Stadium, whatever it's called now? And I said, yeah, I just don't know how the hell I'm going to do it. So we ended up working with one of their sister arenas, like KA Coliseum, and they in Wichita Falls. And so it's a same fundraiser, but there's 100 shelters that are involved that are recipients of the fundraiser. We're gonna have a live audience of hopefully up to 8,000 to 10,000 people. So when they were sharing at your place, like 40 people.
Yeah.
I have done fundraisers with 30, 40 people that have raised 20, 30, 40, up to $100,000. I don't know what's going to happen at this event. I think it's gonna be something pretty cool. I have contracts with some TikTok influencers that are coming that have 20 million followers. I have about 6 to 8 influencers that are coming. Channel 3 and Channel 6, which all falls, are actually shutting down their entire news for 4 hours. They're going to be following
Wow.
me with a camera throughout this whole arena. We're building a shelter on the floor.
Okay.
It is going to be wild. I don't know. I just said I want to see if there's a way I can make this bigger and better. And if I can do it in Texas, I can do it in Nebraska, I can do it in New York, I can do it in arenas across the country versus just the animal shelters. But I always want to
Yeah.
visit local animal shelters. But I
Yeah.
want to be able to bring it because, like, when I first started Jordan's Way, I was told that shelters and rescues don't work well together. So I'm like, all right, this is one of those events where I'm going to say I'm going to bring 100 from Texas, some are coming from Jersey, some are coming from California. There's shelters from all over the country coming to this fundraiser. I can only pick 100. I wanted to keep it to 100 at first just to see how I can scale it and stuff like that. They're all bringing 8 to 10 volunteers, so there's going to be about 1,000 volunteers on the floor. So Team 1 and Team 2 won't be 20 people. It could be
Right.
400 people. The arena is going to be broken in half. So like Team 1 will be everybody on the floor plus everybody in the stands on this side. I
Wow.
have I have like red and blue shirts. Are going to be in all the chairs when they first walk in. This is a legit game show meets Nickelodeon meets medieval times dinner show mentality. Like I'm like, listen, I'm going to try to break Facebook in a day. Like we're just going to try to, like, if you have one live feed and 5 to 10,000 people sharing it at one time, and all the influencers that are going to be live there too, I have no clue what's going to happen. I just asked these shelters that have believed in me for the last 5 or 6 years that I visited once, twice, 3, 4 times. Give me a shot. Just give me one shot to try it in a place that we haven't done it before. Like I know I come to you every time. Come to me on this one. Like if I F it up, okay. Like I tell my daughter, I'm like, listen, if you fail at something, fail big. Like
Yeah.
fail big, man. If you're
Yeah.
gonna fail on your face, just go fall on your face. That's great. Like you know what I mean? But like, and that's one of the hardest things about what I'm doing is it's stressful, but it's more like I'm glad that people are believing in me enough to come to me this time. Or text me.
Yeah, that's
But
amazing. I can only imagine how long you're going to have to power down before that event because it's going to be huge. But hopefully the energy of everyone, right, will just totally be feeding the entire thing. That's super cool. I'm going to look into it a little bit more and see if we can maybe take myself, maybe even some of my staff members too, because that's going to be history too. Like the first time that anyone's raising money like that on that sort of level, especially for the animal community, is ginormous and it's going to be a lot of fun.
my more excitement is the after, right? Like I want to have that PBS moment where people are receiving the check in the mail from like the shelters, receiving a check in the mail from the fundraiser where it's like, take a video, guys, 3 minutes, just say how big the George Way Bowl one was, so I want to do a second one in a bigger arena.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the singer that sings in the bar and then ends up in an arena,
Yeah.
like the comic that tells jokes in the bar and then he's selling out in Madison Square Garden. Like for me, that's kind of, I'm not a singer, I'm not a comic, but I feel like what I do have is something that I can give to the masses more than just the local events.
Yeah.
And I do feel like I haven't hit the top yet where I want to be.
That's awesome. Always going for more. And of course, I think Texas, go big or go home. Let's do it in Texas. First one, see what happens. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Kris, for being with me. Actually, one other question. How do they nominate their shelter or their organization to be a recipient? I'm going to guess through the website.
So through the website, yes, we do. We most of the time now, when I first started the tour, I was reaching out to all the shelters in all the states because like nobody knew who I was, and I was just starting out. Now we get a lot of referrals. We have a lot of alumni shelters now, and also, like you said, you go to jordanswaytour.com. There's a submit button for the Jordan's Way tour. There's also a submit button for the Jordan's Way Bowl coming up. So either way.
Cool. Awesome. I will definitely be sure to link the jordanswaytour.com and also the bowl information. I'm sure the bowl information, though, is probably on the website, but I'll be sure to link both of those into the show notes because I cannot wait to see how big that gets. I cannot wait to host you guys again at Pup and Away. It was a lot of fun, and even if it's not Roscoe's Rescue, which, I mean, I would always love to support them, but whatever rescue in Texas, San Antonio needs a place. You guys know where to find me. Thank you so much for your energy, for your passion, for just everything that you do, not only for the rescues for the dogs, but also just animal welfare in general. It sounds like you've kind of done a really deep dive into the nuances of the rescue world and kind of learned a lot, and your support means a lot to everyone, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on, Stephanie. This is awesome.
My pleasure. It was just as much fun as having you in the real 3-hour event.
Perfect.
All right, everyone. Thank you guys so much, and we hope to see you guys on the next podcast episode. See you then. Now, that might be the end of the episode, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. Follow us on social media. I'd love to connect with you. We have quite a few social media platforms. For nutrition and holistic pet care tips, follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Steph the Pro Dog Mom. You can find fun training tips on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Pup Pup and Away SA. If you're in San Antonio and you want to bring your dog to us for boarding, training, socialization, and nutrition, come find us. But if you're not in San Antonio, we do training and nutrition sessions virtually. Yes, they can be just as effective, I promise. Please rate, review, and subscribe to my podcast on whatever platform you listen on, and please, please, please share with a friend. The positive reinforcement of knowing people actually listen to this and find it valuable helps motivate me to keep on recording. We'll see you guys at the next episode.